just arrived in Mexico City. The unit that I'm working with, it's a special operations unit within the federal police. So I'm really looking forward to getting with the guys. I think this next week is going to be probably one of the most dangerous that I've done. Mexico City, with a population of 25 million, it's easy to imagine why it is the probably most crime-infested city in the world. It's actually quite frightening. Every year, over 3,000 people are killed. On a daily basis, 10 people being killed through organized crime. Mexico City is the #1 place for kidnap. Well, I think just ahead I can just see the Mexican flag. I can see the sign there, it's Policía Federal. It looks like a large complex.
I've cleared security and I'm about to meet my Policía Federal liaison officer, former Navy SEAL and expert in counter-terrorism, Martin Miguel.
Hi, Chris.
Hi, Mom. How are you?
Welcome to the Federal Police. You're going to stay with us 1 week, and we can show you how the work we do, okay?
Great, thanks for having me.
Okay, let's go for your...
Inside this bunkhouse are the lads I'll be training with and my kit.
We can start right now, okay? Go ahead.
First of all, we've got the R4. Just check that it's clear. It's an R4 M16 semi-automatic. It's got the longer barrel. It's got the retractable butt at the back. 2 30-round mags there, loaded, ready to go. It's quite nice that they've issued a weapon straight away. Got a Beretta 9mm, very reliable weapon, used for secondary purposes. Standard 9mm rounds. Respirator, body armor, assault boots, belt kit, knee pads, Kevlar helmet, elbow pads, the uniform. We've got all the kit we need to start training. If you give me 5 minutes, I'll get into it.
Okay, let's go. Vámonos.
There's no messing around here. Kitted up, I'm sent off with the rest of the lads for the first training exercise of the day.
Okay, this is straight into the training.
On the way, I find out more about the unit from Martin.
And Martin, what's the unit's main operational role?
Oh, well, we fight against drug dealers,
Yep.
kidnappers, and the organized crime.
In terms of these drug dealers and traffickers, or the cartels, how dangerous are these guys?
Oh, very dangerous. They are so well armed, automatic weapons, grenades, rocket launchers,
RPGs?
and all that. Yeah, RPGs, yeah.
And it's all military-grade weaponry.
Military, yeah.
Are they targeting the police at all?
Oh, yeah.
So they'll come after you?
Yeah. We are still fighting them, and I hope we have a lot of confidence in our government and our commanders to beat them.
That's good.
Over on the other side of the training camp, I'm about to experience death house training, Mexican style. It's literally a maze of old buildings and lockers laid out just like the slums of the city. Areas that are rife with crime. I've never seen a training ground like it. This is going to be something else.
What we're doing is working in 2 4-man teams. We're working through this range. When we see a target, we're to engage it with a double tap. Enemy front! I'll go down, engage. The partner here, he'll engage over the top of me. And then we'll leapfrog all the way through here. Double tap is when you put 2 rounds into a person. 2 rounds into a head, and that target is neutralized. These exercises are practiced all the time because this type of work these guys do in operations. If you can move out the way, I can stop.
We move through the maze in a 2-tier formation with no idea where the targets are placed. Lightning fast reactions are the name of the game here.
¡Enemigo al frente! ¡Avanza! Enemy front!
Moving through the labyrinth, every man's eyes and ears are on the lookout, ready to take down the next target.
¡Enemigo al frente!
With the first part of the sweep successful, I lead the second team into a more confined area. It's practice for the urban shootouts that are a daily hazard of police work in Mexico City. Seven targets have been neutralized within less than 2 minutes. Not bad for our first time together.
Now, these type of exercises take a long time to practice, to get right, because as you can imagine, that's targetry out there. These guys go out and take on real targets. Guys who are heavily armed with rockets, grenades, and heavily caliber weapons. That's what makes these so special. And that's why they do this so much.
I soon discovered that was just a warm-up. I'm about to get stuck into one of the most ambitious training exercises ever carried out by any police force.
There's been an aircraft hijacked. There's hostages on board, and we might be going in on an operation.
I'm in Mexico training with a group of Special Forces officers from the Policía Federal. They go head-to-head with hardcore criminals as they fight to put drug barons out of business. I've already had a pretty intense few days, and there's still no let-up. Mexico City is a hot, volatile metropolis, and riot control is a speciality of the Policía Federal. For this exercise, they've lined up some of their top recruits.
So there is a God.
Women cops are deployed against female troublemakers. Their kit is state-of-the-art. RoboCop, eat your heart out.
They've got the full body armour, protector on the front, on the arms, down on the sides, they've got the baton in there, thigh protectors, shin protectors on the bottom, and then they've got the shields. And we're going to see these women operating, as well as the guys operating later on today.
Yeah!
Okay, I've got the RoboCop kit on, and I'm going to join the group now for this exercise to simulate a riot going in an arrowhead formation. The female group is going to come up and back us up. We're going to go in, make contact with the rioters, and then the snatch squad is going to come in, we're going to open up, they're going to go through, get the guy that they've targeted, drag him back, we'll hold them, and then withdraw. So I'm going to join the group now.
Training of any worth has to feel real. This is no exception. The Policía Federal have drafted in rioters by the busload, and they're all fired up.
Somehow, I've just got the funny feeling I'm going to get targeted here.
On signal, we move in. It's getting violent, really violent. Believe me, this doesn't feel make-believe anymore. Times like this, you don't have time to think. You erase fear from your mind and focus on the thing that will turn the situation round. In this case, taking out the lead guy. Adrenaline takes care of the rest. The attack and defense movement we are making as we push towards the rioters repels their surge and allows us to mark the ringleaders. Then we open up and let the snatch squad through.
Here's the snatch squad coming through, it's opened up! The snatch squad's gone, they've got the target! We've opened up, the squad's got the guy! We're holding the ground here! We're just gonna move it! Bastards targeted me there.
I've got to admire the way these guys tackled that situation.
You know, these lads, they get acid thrown on them, incendiary devices, petrol bombs. That's why it's important to train and to get the movements right and target the ringleaders, grab them back and give them a damn good pasting. Well, that's what I would do if I was in charge.
I'm still sweating from riot practice when Martin tells me to head over to the driving school for the next training session.
Okay, I'm with the Highway Patrol School at the moment, and these are the instructors who take the guys through on these cars. I've got to say that the most impressive looking police car I've seen up to now. How many horsepower?
Tenemos aproximadamente 350 caballos de fuerza.
Top speed?
240 kilómetros por hora.
What would the dangers be when you're in high pursuit in places like Mexico City?
Lo primero que tenemos que tener en cuenta, como le digo, son las condiciones del camino, de tráfico y las condiciones del vehículo. Tienen que estar en buenas condiciones. No queremos afectar a terceras personas que nada tienen que ver en las persecuciones.
So this is the vehicle control point here.
Sí, tenemos el radio de comunicaciones para comunicarnos con la base de nosotros.
Is the car armored?
Contamos con las dos puertas delanteras y nuestros asientos del respaldo cuentan con un blindaje.
This souped-up Dodge Charger is one of 10,000 put on order by the Policía Federal. Bulletproofed, it makes up for the extra weight by packing a V8 engine that can comfortably do 170 miles an hour. With its customized bull bars for ramming vehicles and its jacked-up suspension, it looks more like a tank but moves like a sports car. It's about time I got to see what this monster is made of.
This is a really smooth ride, sensible speeds, the car's driving really nicely. Then when we put the floor it, the characteristics change.
I haven't been able to hammer a car on the road like this without getting arrested since leaving the SAS.
In the wrong hands, a car can be a very dangerous thing. This is a very heavy car. This is a highway car. It's built for speed.
It's a bit heavy on the handling, but grips the road like a limpet. When you're in any kind of Special Forces unit, expert driving skills are another essential part of the job.
When we're in the SAS, we would use obviously souped up vehicles for high pursuit. We're basically going after another car. This probably isn't the most ideal car for on bends and tight, twisty roads. If you use, I think, a combination of brakes and accelerator, you seem to be able to power in there, so you're not losing that power. We'll just try it on these two. Hard in. This right hand coming in. Tap the brakes. Move it. Okay. Off.
It's a no-nonsense powered-up drive, just what the guys need to police a city like this.
And then come to a sensible stop. The most important thing with anything, whether you're on the range, in a car, using whatever equipment, you have to practice, practice, practice all the time. This here, class it as a weapon or a tool. You have to spend time in it and practice it to get to know the characteristics, even to the point where we have our instructors here and they will show you all the techniques. So on an operation, they do the work at less risk to themselves.
With the car back in the garage, I head for the main base. I'm exhausted, but something tells me the day is not over yet. I'm being tested to see if I have what it takes to keep up with the team. They can't take me on a real mission unless I show that I'm at the top of my game. Sure enough, a call comes through. There's not a chance of arrest. A major training operation is going down, and I'm part of it.
Right, we're getting a brief now. Come on, we're getting a brief off the old commander here. Something's definitely kicked off. The lads are there, the heli's out, and it's getting warmed up, and it's ready to take off.
The atmosphere is electric. The commander informs us that the next training exercise is one of the most ambitious ever undertaken by the force. A live simulation of a hijacking, not at a training ground, but at a fully operational airport.
Listos! Vámonos! There's been an aircraft hijacked. There's hostages on board. We've got a forward mount to the airfield now. We might be going in on an operation.
As we load into the helis, the adrenaline is pumping. Just like in a live situation, we only get information updates as the scenario unfolds.
Okay, we've just had a quick brief on the heli. It's a 727 jetliner that's been taken. It's been hijacked and there's hostages on board. We don't know how many terrorists they are yet. The second team that was working on the other side of the city have arrived there in the vehicles. They've cordoned off half of Mexico City International Airport.
We are heading to Mexico City Airport, the busiest airport in South America. 70,000 passengers pass through its terminals each day. Given the current global security situation, it makes this whole exercise unique. I have never been involved with an urban exercise on this scale.
We're coming in, I can see the aircraft there, and the other guys, the second team, are just standing by waiting for us to touch down.
As the helis touch down, we bail out and dispatch across the tarmac in attack formation. We want to flank the rear of the aircraft before regrouping with the officers already on the ground.
We're held at the back of the aircraft, we're coming on the blind spot. We're just about to make our approach.
There is always a risk of a major hijacking in Mexico. The terrorists here are the drug barons, powerful and mega rich. They'd resort to almost anything to evade capture. The first stage in these situations is always negotiation. But when that breaks down, the only option left is attack.
An aircraft option is very, very dangerous to pull off. First of all, you're in an aircraft, obviously, it's full of fuel and it's full of oxygen. Inside you've got hostages and there's terrorists there who are armed and could have possible explosive devices on them. A lot of the time the terrorists will use the flight deck as their command post because that's where they talk to negotiators making the demands. Them guys will get nailed by the snipers that we have posted out on the rooftops as the guys are opening the doors. Our unit, the group, comes in the inner cordon. They're going to approach this aircraft from the rear in its dead area. The lads will move under the aircraft. They'll enter through the emergency exits on the wings and then the two front doors. It's paramount that this happens all together and at the same time. They'll move in, take on any threat, and then basically hold the aircraft. And that's game over. We're just getting squared away now into all our positions. The cue will be a distraction, a large explosion, and it's just to take everybody's attention that's inside that aircraft to look to see what's happened outside, and that's our cue to go through the doors. We'll make our approach to the aircraft in the dead spot of it so nobody can see us. Once we're in position, we'll call through to the commander on his orders of stand by, go. The distraction will go off and we'll be going through them doors toot sweet.
At this moment, anything can happen. I'm about to find out just what these guys are made of as we storm the hijacked jet.
Okay, we're going in the rear.
And I get to take part in a live operation that will take me to Mexico's slums as we hunt for members of a notorious drug gang. I'm in Mexico City training with the Policía Federal. A pretty tough few days of training just got tougher. I'm to take part in the biggest training operation in the history of the force. A hijacked jet is on the tarmac at Mexico City Airport. It's our job to take out the hijackers and rescue the hostages.
Once we're in position, we'll call through to the commander. On his orders, the distraction will go off and we'll be going through them doors toot sweet.
No quiero ver las cabezas arriba. Si no, no robo la cabeza a ella.
All attempts at negotiations have failed. We have to storm the aircraft.
Okay, we're going in the rear.
The initial assault is carried out by teams moving in alongside the belly of the aircraft. They use this blind spot to avoid being seen by anyone on board the plane.
We're right underneath the aircraft here, and nobody can see us. We can move straight in here. This guy's opening the door. This guy's going in. We'll go straight through after posting flashbangs.
¡Me vuelo la cabeza a ella! ¡Me vuelo la cabeza! Okay!
The explosive charges are laid. The clock counts down as we wait for the big bang that will signal our go.
Get going.
¡Hasta ahí, Mr. General! ¡Gonzalo! ¡Vamos a ver!
Down! Down! Your head's down! Hands on head! Down! Down!
¡Ese mueve! ¡Ese freno y se mueve!
¡Agacha la cabeza! Heads down! Hands on your head!
¡Deje de moverse aquí! ¡Enlace los dedos! ¡Agacha la cabeza!
Head down!
¡Agacha la cabeza!
Okay, we took the aircraft within seconds. We knocked down any of the X-rays, any of the terrorists. The plane now is full of hostages. We're going to make a head count on any dead terrorists and then a head count on passengers. The situation now is quite dangerous. We've taken the aircraft. We don't know if there's any booby traps. We don't know if any of these potential hostages could be terrorists, sleepers. Any of them could. Hands on your head! Right! On your head! They could be sitting on a grenade, a pistol, whatever, waiting for the evacuation, and then let something go. But it's as quick as that.
¡Agáchese usted!
Head down, hands on head! Head down! Head down! We've got an aircraft full of hostages here. What you've got to do is control them. You get the heads down so they can't see what's going on. You get the hands on the heads so you can see their hands and what they're doing.
¡No te muevas!
So if there's a movement here and somebody sticks the head up with a weapon, I can then engage that person firing over the tops of these chairs and engaging that terrorist. If we have, for instance, this girl's head up here like this and I'm trying to engage, I'll put a parton right through her head.
As we lock down the aircraft, the emergency support services arrive. They're ready for the second part of the operation, the evacuation of the passengers and the removal of any dead hijackers.
Okay, we've got to evacuate. We're sitting in an aircraft that's fueled and there's a great danger that it could go up in flames. If there's any IEDs on here, any booby traps that they've set and one of them goes off, we could have mass casualties. So we've got to evacuate ASAP.
The hijackers are the first to be removed. The live ones will be taken for questioning, the dead ones to the morgue. With the terrorists locked down, we begin the task of evacuating the plane and identifying the hostages.
Okay, the evacuation started now. We're taking them seat by seat.
The passengers are the next to file out. Check out how the police treat them, all like suspects. It may seem harsh, but it's a necessary precaution. We can't afford to let anyone slip through the net. Hijackers have been known to try and pass themselves off as hostages.
The guys are coming out now, they're running them down here. Each one under control, and they'll all be processed. And basically there'll be a manifest, the names will be checked off by the police to make sure that
The hostages are the hostages and nobody snuck in there like a potential terrorist trying to get out. And you can see now all the police here covering everybody.
¡Venga la cabeza al piso! ¡No pasa nada!
The old meat wagon's just turned up. That'll be scraping anybody off. The exercise has been a huge success. An operation like this at a working airport shows just how serious the Policía Federal take their training. These guys really are a crack squad.
Whiskey.
Inspired by the scale of this kind of training, I wonder what's in store for me tomorrow. I'm now officially on standby for a live mission. This is where any operation begins, the command center of the Policía Federal. I'm the first civilian to have been allowed access to this state-of-the-art nerve center. I'm given a guided tour by the Chief of Communications. He's a man with $1 million bounty on his head.
Commander, this is a very impressive control room. Can you tell me what happens here?
Aquí tenemos, los compañeros quienes mantienen comunicación en tiempo real con sus similares en las 34 comisarías regionales distribuidas en todo el territorio nacional.
And what do you see as the future for Mexico and the fight against the drug lords?
Pues yo creo que es una lucha que tenemos que ganar, ahí sí no hay. El gobierno mexicano destina grandes recursos a la atención del tema.
And sir, you must have the most dangerous job. The last time I saw so many bodyguards was on my Prime Minister. Is it right your predecessor was killed in action by the drug lords?
Sí, así es. Sí. Pues mire, pues somos peligroso. Bueno, pues uno ahora sí que gran parte de este asunto, todos los compañeros lo hacemos por convicción, por la convicción de servir.
Well, sir, I would like to thank you for allowing us into your control room, and I wish you all a luck for the future. I'm sure you will succeed. Thank you, sir.
As we're about to leave, the call I've been waiting for comes through. My squad of guys has been called up for a live mission. We're heading to a slum area in the south of the city. It's a hotbed of drug dealing, prostitution, and gun crime. A week before my arrival, 5 officers lost their lives in a shootout with members of one of the drug cartels. This type of operation can be dangerous in terms of the areas we're going into. As we've seen, the kill rate in Mexico City is unbelievable. Last night, 12 gang members turned up without their heads. They'd been executed. We're going into these hard areas where a lot of these killings happen. So there's a chance of random shooting or contact, and plus the fact that if we see anybody around there that's wanted, it could kick off big style. We load into the vehicles and set out in convoy. Immediately, the stance and composure of the lads changes. They're on total alert, all eyes and ears scanning for danger as we prepare to enter the criminal heartland of Mexico City. This takes me right back. These men are completely aware of the threat that is all around them. It's no wonder. Every man here has lost a comrade whilst out on the job. As you can see, the guys now are just giving hand signals to the civilians, just telling them to move over so that the convoy doesn't get broken up. They have good reason to be concerned. The town we are passing through is home to some of Mexico's most notorious hitmen. A lot of 2-3-story buildings, closely packed in. There's not many people about.
This is a high-risk zone where the many hitmen live. Has the security houses, drug dealers, and all the organized crime. You don't notice, but when we arrive up there, there's someone yells, "Hey, they are coming!"
These villages are covered from all corners by a network of lookouts on the payroll of the cartels. It's their job to spread the word that the police are on the turf, and this makes us a target.
the guys will not use the same entry point all the time because that's an easy one to ambush, whether it be a parked car with a bomb in it or a sniper.
Just as we hit the outer edge of the district, the siren goes up. Something's kicking off.
Got something going on here?
This is where you get your power surge. You're tooled up to the eyeballs and you're screaming through the city, heavily armed with a bunch of professional guys. One of the officers at the head of the convoy has run a number plate check on a vehicle up ahead. The call has come back from command that it's a suspect vehicle.
Hey, fuck me, this is going. Stopped another vehicle. I don't know why they pulled this guy over, but he's moving up there quite cautiously. They're going to get them out. We'll get across here quick.
Getting a suspect out of a car in Mexico is a risky business. It's the point at which a desperate man is most likely to draw his weapon. The driver and his passengers are separated so they can be questioned independently to see if their stories fit.
Round with the unit there is just checking documentation, making sure everything adds up. A lot of these type of operations, you could come up trumps by just seeing a suspicious vehicle. You know, you might end up with a wagon full of drugs or a criminal on the run.
We're in a dangerous area and are at our most exposed and vulnerable. To protect us, the guys have put up a cordon of security.
Just over my shoulder, you see one of the guys just putting protection out on there. We're coming to here now, we come here. The guys have just stopped the street, they're blocked there off. Lads are relaxed, nobody really aggressive, just nice and calm.
The guy's ID checks out okay. He is free to go, but his illegal vehicle will be impounded until he pays a fine.
They've been given the call clear, they thank them, and then they're on the way.
With the scene broken up, we continue our patrol. I'm impressed by how cool these guys operate under pressure. They have to police 75 square miles of chaotic roads and ramshackled housing. Their knowledge of every district of the city is amazing. It needs to be. One wrong turn could end in disaster.
That's one big problem whenever you're going out and patrolling. Familiarization of an area, so you actually know, so you're not sitting reading a map, navigating through an area. Because again, Mexico City, the largest city in the world, it's absolutely huge, and it's just a warren of streets.
Back at the Policía Federal HQ, they have received intelligence that a wanted member of a drugs cartel is in the area and a big deal may be going down. We're tasked with raiding the location and taking any criminals by surprise.
Fucking hell. We've the guys, there's possibly some drug dealers down here, so we're just go quick.
All hell breaks loose as gunfire is heard in the distance.
Yeah, there's a possibility that there's some drug dealers down here.
The police sweep through the shantytown and stop and search several suspects.
This is very real. We're in the middle of an illegal housing area, and this guy's getting patted down, looking for drugs. The police have come right round, they're doing a search. We've got kids around. They've lifted somebody. Quick, come down. We've got a guy who's acting suspicious there.
Martin gets more info about the situation relayed to him.
He's getting a brief. He's getting a brief now.
Okay, we got a call from the radio that there were people selling drugs.
Right.
Okay, they just run away, the guys are done.
Yeah.
But we can go to the room and you can smell the marijuana smell and all the stuff. Oh, come on.
Right.
The people are frightened and the dogs on edge. It's a tense situation.
These dogs here, if they get a grip of you, they don't let go. So I'll inhale them back. Here.
We enter the drugs den, which has been freshly abandoned.
So this is where the They were doing the dealing in here. You can see how rough it is. I mean, that's somebody's crash out bench there. There's some beer on the side, fuck all on the floor, and it's just bare, you know. You can smell like marijuana in bits and pieces. But this just shows what sort of poverty these people live in. It goes hand in hand, you know, drugs and poverty and the squalor. These poor people that have to live in there and have to deal with this on a daily basis. And then these guys, you know, have to police it and then make the innocent people who have to live here safe. It's just a nightmare.
Okay, let's go. These people, we have to.
These slums are highly volatile places, and the police know that sometimes it's best not to aggravate a situation. The decision is made to draw back from the area. This is where I really see these guys working like clockwork. Filing out, each man providing cover. Pure military tactics used in a police force. It's impressive stuff.
Basically, you've got to get away from the area now. Being in, couldn't find anything, move out, because these guys dealing the gear could have ended up going back, getting weapons, and then having a crack. So we just move out, we've done search, and move on to the next place. No point in antagonizing anybody, building up even more tension. Get in, do the business, and then leave. The guys do that every day. Go out, just make their presence felt, and keeping the bad guys' heads down and just boxing them in and stopping them spreading their disease.
When I was in the SES, the mantra for any mission was that it must be carried out with the 3 C's: clarity, conviction, and courage. Having seen these men at work, I can say they match up to the work ethos of my old regiment. I've no doubts now, these are some of the best cops in the business. During the past week, I have experienced firsthand the dangers the men and women of the Policía Federal are exposed to every day of their lives. For decades, the drug cartels have used corruption and terror to infiltrate themselves into every part of the country's society and government. They are a formidable and ever-changing foe. Cutting-edge policing is the only way to tackle cutthroat criminals. Determined to clean up the system and destroy the power of the drug barons, the government has built up a war chest. Hundreds of millions have been spent, making them one of the best equipped and high-tech police forces in the world. The scope of their training is breathtaking. Their range of skills is unrivaled by any other police unit I've witnessed. Getting to see the lads in action showed me just how their training pays off. This unit cracks down hard on crime in order to protect ordinary Mexicans caught up in one of the most volatile civil conflicts in history. For almost a decade, the Policía Federal has been fighting to stop the country collapsing into a culture of all-out crime. From what I've seen, these officers have the training, the hardware, and above all, the guts to take the fight right back to the drug barons. My week with the Policía Federal is almost over.
Atención! Chris, Ryan!
Without doubt, it's been a great privilege to fight and train alongside Martin's unit.
Sir, you have completed your course with us, with the GEO of the Federal Police. Please let all the guys in the world know that we are doing and working hard.
Thanks very much, Martin.
Okay.
Thank you, it's been a pleasure.
Thanks,
Thank
sir.
you. Thanks.
He's a guy with a lot of experience. We don't try to teach him anything because he knows a lot of things, but we can make that our techniques were as good as any special group in the world.
The thing that makes these guys exceptional above everybody else, it's the dangers they work in. Over 100 Mexican policemen were killed just this month. And these guys do it, not for the money, it's because they believe in what they're doing and they believe in their country.
Ah!